Hi, I'm Ellen. I'm a peer recovery navigator within the community rehab team.
My name's Tom. I'm a tutor at the Wellbeing College. Do you want to take the first one? You go first.
Yeah, okay. Tom, what would you say to someone struggling to find the time and motivation for movement?
So I think first thing is to recognise that we all have limitations. I think maybe kind of realigning our expectations that we might have around what is worthwhile doing and maybe what we can do, I think is really, really important. I think sometimes and quite often the reason we don't maybe start things in the first place is because they feel too big, they feel too hard. Maybe at some point in our lives we feel like we have to go to the gym for an hour, or we have to go for a run for half an hour, whatever it is, because those are the times we set ourselves. But realistically, I think when we're all adults, we've all got other things we need to do. I think it's about, first of all, integrating it into your everyday life. So making really easy swaps. If you are already, walking to work, maybe to walking a little bit quicker to work, or cycling as opposed to getting the bus twice a week. So changing things you're already doing, I think, is the first thing. And second of all, not putting a time frame on it. If you've got 5 or 10 minutes and you want to do a bit of stretching, or you want to take 5 minutes from your desk and just, I don't know, go up and down the stairs, or move your hands. And it's the little things. Whatever you can do, a couple of push-ups a day or whatever it feels comfortable is better than nothing. And seeing that as all part of the progress, as opposed to like, well, I don't have time to go to the gym because I've only got 15 minutes, therefore I'm not going to do anything. So I think those two things for me.
I totally agree. I think finding something that you enjoy as well, that it doesn't have to be a chore or a thing that like, oh, I should do it.
Yes.
I should do this. Is I actually want to.
Yeah.
Or, but I think also sometimes for motivation, for me, I notice the motivation often comes after I experience the benefits of something. So there's something about, before even stepping towards it, just connecting into my future self almost, and thinking about how I will be feeling on the other side of this, and that feeling could motivate me.
All right. So, why is movement so important for our mental health? $1 million question.
It's just so interesting that we speak about these things separately sometimes within the medical model, our mental health and our physical health. And I think they're so intrinsically connected. Our mind is in our body, and our body, it's a chicken and the egg, it's a two-way street. And so sometimes if we're feeling a little bit stuck here, just by actually moving our body and creating an experience of, I'm able to move, I'm able to feel a sense of a bit more freedom, or a bit of energy, a bit of strength. I could do saying things like strengths-based movement if I'm feeling a little bit depleted and like I haven't got much resource myself. If I do something that gives me the physical experience of feeling strong, then I have the experience of feeling strong. Or similarly, if I'm feeling a bit wobbly in my emotions, if I do something that gives me a sense of balance, then that gives me the experience of balance, and that feeds into my mental state. But there's so many benefits to, like right now, being outside and the birds are singing, and the air is sweet and it's just beautiful, and you get to connect with other people. Changing
our thoughts or changing our mental state, just from that kind of mental side of things, is really challenging. And not to say that physically it isn't challenging, but I think sometimes, as you said there, just by going for a walk or changing our behaviours, we might feel absolutely rubbish. We might be having a really, really bad day. Just stopping thinking like that is almost impossible, I think. But if we can just force ourselves out for 5 minutes, that will almost certainly have a chemical, and hormonal benefit to us, which will benefit our mental state. There's the science behind it is rock solid. So sometimes I think, although no part of changing your mental health is easy, or bettering it, but sometimes that is the easiest part out of in the grand scheme of things. What small movements could someone do while the kettle boils? And I think this is a good one for you, actually. So I mean, for me, it's all about freeing up the joints. I think we think a lot about our muscles and holding tension in our muscles. And there can be quite a lot of awareness about that, but when we think about the muscles, they all join in at the
at our joints, and we start to kind of lock these different areas, and all of the blood and lymphatic fluid, everything that moves through our joints, through these junctions, that helps us to stay feeling fresh and energized. So things like rolling your wrists, rolling your shoulders, doing little hip circles with your hips, lifting one leg up like you're stirring a big pot of soup.
Like you're stirring a tea.
Yeah. Doing your ankles, your knees. You can stand with your feet together and just do a couple of circles with your knees.
Nice.
And I think, but most importantly, when we think about movement, and not doing it because you should, but because we enjoy it, is to just take that opportunity to just feel in and how does my body want to move right now, and really honouring that and paying attention and giving that inner listening, because I think that's a skill that translates from kind of mindful movement into good mental health practices.
So you think that ability to kind of turn your focus inwards can be used as well in terms of working out how you feel mentally, as opposed to just what aches or what doesn't ache?
Yeah, it's taking stock, and it's like, right, what are my needs? What does my body need right now?
Yeah.
And then responding to that. And I think that over time, we get used to kind of checking in, knowing and sensing what we're feeling and responding, gives us a lot more choice, a lot more autonomy, a lot more feeling of power, empowerment.
Yeah.
What role does movement have in mental health recovery?
Oh, okay.
Or discovery?
Recovery or discovery?
Yeah, I'm just adding the discovery.
Oh, okay. Well, I think again this is one for you, but I'll start off and I'll let you fill in all the huge gaps I leave. But I feel like from a kind of a trauma aware point of view, I know that things can feel very stuck, as you kind of mentioned, and I think moving in a positive way can help with some of those blockages, and it can help move things forward. I know that breath work is really, really important in some sort of trauma-informed exercise and movement and yoga stuff as well. So I think so from a physical point of view, but then recovery from mental health, my understanding is it's not just about what you do individually, it's about that network and that support. And I think one thing I would say is it can help you connect again. It can get you out there. It can get you out there with a different group of people, with a different kind of network that might be more supportive, and can help you there. Because ultimately, I think recovery is a group effort as much as it is an individual. So yeah, that would be my 2 cents. But what have you got to say on it?
Yeah, I like what you're saying about recovery as a group effort. I do think we need to think about recovery in a broader sense. But yeah, when you talk about connection, it makes me think about this connection to others and connection to self. And oftentimes, in times of mental health challenges, what we're feeling, and feelings are physical, emotions are physical. And when that feels too much, we can kind of shut off to feeling. And shut off, which is a very intelligent protective mechanism of our bodies. But we can start to disconnect a little bit from feeling here.
Right.
And I think that movement gives us a way to reconnect to feeling that's less threatening, and that we can stop at any time.
To really ground us.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Tom, what do you do to support your mental health and well-being?
What do I do?
Yeah.
I walk a lot. And it doesn't mean, walking in really, really fun mountains and stuff. There's a bit of that, but mostly it's just whenever I don't feel as good as as maybe other days, my default, I think I've trained myself, is to go outside, and to shake it out a little bit. So that I think is I don't even really think about it anymore. It's just something I know I have to do. It's like often my first line of defense. And then I think the other thing would be, if it still sticks around, it's sometimes doing the opposite of what I want to do deep down. So sometimes I think I'll withdraw, or maybe I won't go out as much, or I'll tell myself I need another night in, or not to see anyone because it's self-care, and there's definitely a time for that. But I know that 9 times out of 10, seeing friends, seeing people I like, makes me feel better. Even if in the moment I don't always feel up for it, it normally has a positive impact. So for me, it's my two big things: kind of movement and exercising, and getting out there and trying to just meet up with someone or kind of talk it through. Just saying whatever is on my mind to someone. It always feels better.
I also walk for reasons, to be connected to nature and to move and just process, I think.
Yeah.
But I do regularly practice yoga, qigong in the mornings sometimes, and dance. Dance is something I wish I'd do more, because I find it to be quite a joyful thing, and it's something that brings me a lot of joy that I don't do as much.
Okay. How does movement play a part in your role at Second Step?
So when I've been in support working roles in Second Step, it's been quite a big part of the holistic recovery journey of working with somebody in the community, following significant challenges in mental health. And part of our role is to kind of walk alongside somebody in life in the community and to engage with their interests. So oftentimes we will be walking and talking. Sometimes sitting in a room can be a bit reminiscent of challenging conversations that have been had with other mental health professionals. There's something about just going out and connecting to place. And moving and talking can just allow some people to feel a bit more easeful in terms of sharing. Within my training role and facilitation, when we've been delivering training around trauma-informed practice, it's something that we're there talking about, but it's an experience that's alive in people's bodies, and there is a real need for really respecting that and creating spaces and ways for us to regulate our bodies, to stay connected to our bodies and to stay grounded and here. And so movement and practices and awareness practices like that have been really key to ensure that we do that safely, and to create spaces to check in with our bodies, because our bodies are going to give us that information if we're actually somewhere that isn't sustainable for us, or if we're feeling an impact from something we're discussing. So that body awareness and creating space for people to really notice their bodies and nurture their bodies has felt really important.
It's really nice that you've been able to kind of take maybe what you learnt on the ground in support work and seeing the impacts there, and take it into like maybe a bigger kind of audience in that kind of facilitating role. I think that must be really rewarding to kind of continue that journey.
Thank you. How about you in your roles?
So for me, I think I definitely came from a background where I did lots of movement and exercise and things like that in my previous jobs and roles, and I was really keen to bring it to the college. So we had bits and pieces around movement. It's definitely a feature in a lot of our workshops, whether it's a trauma workshop or whether it's anxiety. We often do little exercises where it's all about kind of just trying to shake, as you've talked about, shake things out and get things moving and dispelling some of that kind of that frustration, lots of grounding. But I guess I wanted to try and make it even more of a part of the college. So I developed a mind and movement workshop, which is all about it's a bit more literal. About the benefits of exercise and movement on our mental health, on our physical health, the connection, and it's a very kind of action-focused workshop where we're really working with people to think, well, what do you want to do? Why is it going to make things better for you, and how are you going to do it? Trying to make it very real for people. And we've also got walking workshops, which you've obviously joined me on for one or two, and they're just. I just love them so much, and I think, as you've mentioned, the connections and the conversations that you're having on those are just so powerful. And we kind of tie it up with mindfulness exercises and getting out and looking at things and seeing things, and I think the combination of those two things, of kind of movement and a bit of mindfulness in a kind of a very very low-key way, I just think it's magic.
I can attest that the walks are really beneficial for those who attend.
Yeah.
From conversations I had whilst on the walk, people had shared that the walks they've been on with you have now influenced when they go on other walks, just on their own. They're doing the mindfulness things, they're noticing, they're connecting with their senses, and they're really enjoying that. So it ripples out.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a lovely set of questions.